sets off these scallops and make it score line so that you just have a really light edge to it, and then it'll really make that picture versus if you notice if I take this away, then it doesn't quite have the same effect. I think. You guys might find it better without. So remember, everything is up for grabs. First thing I'm going to do is let's say this is our token. So this is a 2-inch token that I made. And the final size looks like it's about 2.3 something. So it's a nice little size. It's big enough for kids to handle, small enough to fit in your pocket. All of those things that make it an easy kind of handout gift. So we're going to say something like Happy Target. The first thing we're going to do is find some fonts that I thought were cute for the fact that they have hearts in them. Or in this case, you can see it's a real comic style font for comic books or magazines, folk novels, that sort of thing, where it has the really big part of the headline. And so that might be more fun for kids. Doesn't really go with doilies, I would say. It feels a little bit more on the I would say let's make this into a ticket versus a token, or we'll do something else for that. So if you're wondering what font that is, though, this is Biff Bam Boom outline. And I get a bunch of fonts from a lot of places, so it may be a free font. You should check out if you think you like that one. This guy right here, I thought was really good with the double hearts in there. And it's really easy to read. It's really bold. Even the thinness of these carrying points is bold enough that you can easily read it. And if you're going to do something like this where you actually cut out around it, then it's not going to get lost. You can see some of the font lines on this one are rather thin as they come across, and that thinness there will make it really hard to translate, especially if it's something that you're scoring. I know I do have monolines, but I don't think that's a monoline font. This is Adelia, Adellia, and this guy right here is Beth Love, Bethlove. So we're going to start with Beth Love. I'm going to pull this back down here. I like to have my workspace a little bit like kind of centered in my view. So I think we're going to take this and we're going to say, let's give a little something more. So we're going to go to effect, more, and we're going to art cover. And that doesn't quite look like what we want. So if you look right here, this is the warps options. You can art cover, and it'll show you the picture here. This is what it's doing. It's a flat bottom with a round top. And if you look here, there's art, which is a round top and a round bottom. That's probably more likely what you want. Needs a little adjusting. So these are the defaults that come up. It always goes to a 50%. I'm going to pull it back down some, and you can see the preview right there. It gives us exactly what we're going to get. So I think I'm good with that. And just so you know, you can decide, oh, what am I doing here? You can make this a vertical. So you're actually making that shape, that curve and curve. This is the large curve side. This is the small curve side because you need a vertical. Horizontal is saying, okay, this is the large curve. This is the small curve. So you can see that it's sitting horizontal when it has those curves that way. Vertical, it would have the curves like that, if that makes sense. So we're gonna hit OK. And so you can see the original text right here as you roll over. And that shows you that you have an effect on here. And if you want to do anything more with it, text-wise, you still can. And you can change the word completely if you want to. So let's say we want to change the spacing. The kerning on these letters, I think, could be done a little bit better. The H has more of a gap between the E than you see like between the R and the T here, or between the E and the A. You know, it feels like this needs to tighten up a little bit. So I know I covered in the last video that if you're using type, if you hit Alt and the left arrow key, it actually brings you closer. And if you hit right arrow key, it brings you further apart. So if you see anything where you have a font that you're having trouble with, you know, making it work for you, double check and make sure that you've gone through and done kerning on it, because sometimes it just needs that little extra kind of tightening up that you get. So I'm going to say I'm done with that. So I hit the Z arrow, the black arrow, the selection tool arrow. And I know that there may be new people watching this, so I try to make sure I point out the tools all the time every time we use them. And we're going to resize this, holding Alt and Shift, so it resizes from the center. And we're going to see how this looks in our really. You can see it's still a little bit out, and I think that we probably want this to be a kind of an angle. But I think we need to make a little bit smaller to decide that circle. Really have an impact. Now here, I can say, you know what, I like the fact that it's up here in the circle, and you could say something like Heart Day underneath. Or we could put it down in the middle, and we could say Happy Heart Day. Now, what I'm going to introduce here, if you haven't used it before, is text on tab. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to find the center. Oops, here, let's go. You can see the center line, or the center of this piece, right there in the center of the A. You see that blue dot? It'll always show you the center when you have something selected, or just when you roll over it. So we are going to make a new circle. And it's just over here. There, you can see it's helping us with the guide. And we're just going to make another circle. And this one, we want to have the text on top. So you can see I'm leaving a margin here for where the text will go. And I'm going to select the T. If you watch over here, type tool, area type tool, type on a path. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to click where I want it to start. That's my Dingbat's font that I had selected previously. So we're going to take this back out to something that is a little more sans serif, easy to read, but it's not going to interfere with the script heart word that we have. So let me skim through here a little bit. I have some that I really like, but they're not always fit in different situations. So let's see. The kids' lemonade is kind of cute. Oh, sorry, kiwi lemonade. Because it adds kind of a playfulness to it. So if this was for kids, then that would be kind of good. The L is a bit tall. When you look at that, but that shouldn't matter for us because we're just going to say happy. So we're going to try it out. And I'm not sure about that. I think I have caps lock on. Let's try this again. There we go. It's not bad. It's cute. So let's pull that over. Now you can see right here are the lines of where the text starts. So if you grab the line, see right there, I'm rolling over and it has an arrow to the right. And that means you're going to move the text over to where you want it. Now, a lot of times people will move it and say, okay, that's where I want it. But then if you change the words, that just makes sense. So if you look, you can see that we're on left aligned. So if we center our text up, you can see there, it's in the center of what we're working with. So what we really want to do is we want to come over here to this guy who has the text to the left. And we're basically going to say, we don't want any text on this top more than half of the circle. So now that's the end of where the text can go. We're going to come back to this guy and say that's the beginning where the text can go. And the other half, now you can see it's centered. It's a little tall, but it's also a little big. So we have 36 point. I'm going to pull it down to that feels a little small, doesn't it? Let's go to 24, and then we'll come back to that later. So now we've got our text on a path that's curved, and you know how to set the range of where you want this text to occur. And we're going to basically do the same thing, but now this is going to be for the bottom. And for the bottom, hold Alt and Shift to bring out my new circle to the bottom. For some reason, it's still. Let's switch that. Okay, so now for the bottom, we're going to type on the inside so that it's actually where we can read it vertically. If you wanted to, you could have the text go on the outside and they would be upside down. So a lot of people like to do that for things like coins, where you have the same thing on either side of the coin. For us, since we're making a token that we want to be able to read through words, then we're just going to do it like this. And you'll find a lot of other uses for this as well. I'm going to align all these center. There we go. And now we'll take this guy and I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to come up to text on path and we're going to hit where the path starts. And you can see the path goes all the way around again, just like we had on the other one. So this is going to be D and Y. And on this one, let's see here are two lines. So there's the one to the right, which we're fine with. But then, actually, no, it's the one to the right and one stop. We're going to come to half. Don't worry about it being upside down. We're actually going to look at that for a second. That's an A arrow. That's and so give me 1 second. Yeah, it's easy just to drag, but I haven't done it for a while, so give me a second. It's always great. There we go. Okay, so if you saw what I was doing, there's a little anchor right here, and it gives you the up and down arrow. And so I pulled it up, and then that made the text come up into circle. I just couldn't see it easily. So now we have day on the bottom. Realign it since I moved it up. And we can decide how tight we want day to be to this. Right now you can see we're about the same margin from the top as we are from the bottom right here. So you can decide if you want text larger or if you want to make this tighter inside the circle. I think I'm going to pull it tighter inside a little bit. So as I change the size of this, I'm trying to get how far I get. I'm looking at the outside of that T and where the hearts are, and that gives me a good place to look to make sure that that's where I'm going to match up and do the happy. Sorry, right. That's right, tighter. Sorry. So there we go. Now I keep feeling like this isn't in the right spot, or it's just not the right font. I don't know. I like the font though, so let's make it work. I think what we might want is some kind of flourishes. I know another font I was just looking at, not this one. So let's just the regular type tool. It's one that has some really cute flourishes and some really fun stuff next to the capital letters. As you can see, I've got a lot of fonts labeled, so I thought it was really kind of take the filter out. See. There's some ornaments. That's not. Let's try pulling that out. These are pretty cute. There's some hearts in there, so let's go with that. So we're going to take this letter, which I think is L-O-R-E-M-I. This is capital I think, or lowercase I, because it's from Ornament. So we're going to copy that, and then we're actually just going to paste that out. So now you can see we have that one piece right there. So now I'm going to go ahead and resize it up a bit, and then create outlines. So go up to type and down to create outlines. It's also Shift Control O. And then that way now you're working with art, because we don't really want it to be a font anymore. We're just going to start placing these things where we like them. You know, you could do just this big patch like that, but then that kind of looks like we just took a patch of something. It doesn't really make it your own. So in this, I'm going to pull this back out. I'm going to ungroup it. So that is Control Shift G. And now all this should be. Well, the easiest way to do this is to get inside of it. But I thought I found that the grouping. So odd. Okay, we're going to deal with it this way. We'll use the direct selection tool next time, A. And you can see A will go past and you can select just a single item if you want. So now we're going to take the little heart that we had. And I like to zoom in when I'm doing these because they're so small. see what I'm doing. So these are kind of cute, kind of match. So we're going to take this guy and put it about halfway out. And you can see this has two. So it's not exactly the same part, but we're going to hold Alt with the black arrow key, which is the V key, and hold Alt and you can duplicate just by dragging. And then this one, they have a little bit bigger, a little bit wider. And there we go. So we get both sides at the same time. You can always come in here too with the A key, and it's like any other art. So you know what? I want this to be kind of not totally matching the other art. I want this to be more. I want this to be more. Let me lock the Control 2 locks it, and then that way you can do whatever you like outside of it. Then unlock them later. Where was I? Okay, using the A Y arrow in order to kind of pull some stuff out. Make it a little bit different. Oh, that's right. That's right. And you can see right here, like, oh, that's a really nice curve right here. But then this guy's really kind of flat. So there's a handle here that you can go in and pull it in. And there, now, you've got your own little kind of sassy art, actually. Does it match? No, but the style of the whole thing kind of matches. So that's kind of the point, is that you want to do something that's similar and it feels like you went through and did this all yourself. Let's see, let's pull one of these outline parts. And oops, back to the pull an outline part. Okay, you can see this. This is probably why I was having a problem with the group. This is actually a compound path. I don't think a lot of people, kind of mess with these, but they're good to use and they're good to know about. So right here, you can see this is a center path for the center of the heart that then gets cut out of the back of the heart. And if it was just cut lines, it wouldn't matter. You wouldn't have a fill and you would just have it. But since it's not, and we actually want to have this as something that we can engrave, then we select the first one. And you can see that it's on top because when we selected it, it selected versus this big guy back here. So what you can do is you can just select this and hit minus front. And then there you have an outline again. And then you don't have to worry about it later causing any issues. So we're going to pull this from in here. And I kind of like the idea of putting it like on the end of the T here. So we're going to rotate it. And drag it there. And drag it there. All right. I'm not doing the size of these letters, guys. We may have to change our font. Let's try sprinkling some of this confetti around. So, that kind of randomness in some cases. Paste again. This is why I was trying a lot. Drag. Some of the confetti is different sizes, so that's where we're going to do this one. Copy. paste. Unfortunately, this is so small. It's one of those things where it's going to be hard to move without dragging the outside page bar. So that's where you can see it with those two. Basically transform versus you just want that symbol next to your mouse, and that's the grab the whole thing and move it. So you don't want to resize it, you don't want to change it, just want to move it. Let's so it's like the favorite stuff here. Use that. Like I said, and if you change where you are, then the control V case will change where it goes. So you can see right now that's not in a great spot for what we're doing. So we're going to go and drag that back. But now we've got some random dots that are going on. Let's try going here in this area. So now I'm going to just paste. Okay, I hope that's not too much that I'm poking in. Let's get this side bigger. This is currently 32. I think that it probably got to 36. The T is split out. Let's try 36. That's perfect. If you notice, the T actually then continues into this curve here. So what we'll do is we'll just come over and we will go first. We're going to have to oh, sorry. When you have text that's being worked, we need to go to Object and Expand Appearance, and that will actually then create the art. Now, if you notice, we've got some overlaps right here in the font, and you don't want that because your laser will see that as a double negative. You have black from here, you have black from here. So it'll say, oh, no, double negatives, I make it white. So yeah, we don't want that. So go in, check for those. If you have those, then come over to Pathfinder and Unite. And then all of those overlaps will be gone. Okay, so now we can see this guy's going across, which is kind of beautiful. But we don't want doubles again right here. This would be black on black, so double negative. Let's just click this, and I'm going to use the plus arrow. It's the add a point arrow. Or I'm sorry, pen. It's the add a point pen. And I'm going to see if I can flip it right at the edge. And you have to get it right on top, otherwise it's hard to set. So I'm trying to get it on this pad without there. And then I think this probably over down here to make it so that we can delete the rest of this so that it still feels like we're going across. And then we'll look at it first and we'll see, because it doesn't always mean are going to be happy with it. So still have an A arrow. I'm going to select everything past my 2 points and delete. So you come back out there and say, do you like the fact that the line overlaps into the road? And I don't mind. What do you guys think? I have the window over on the other side, so there we go. There. Okay, now let's look at what we need to do to keep that. So obviously it doesn't match up right now. But all we're gonna do is we're gonna try to make it merge with this. So what we can do is, especially since this is in the full shape, I'm trying to make sure that we close the shape. And I use a arrow, select the plane, drag it up into the block, select this guy, and drag up into the block. And that's going to overlap. We're going to join, Control J. Roughly with things, we're going to shift just like these two, and then join, Control J. And you can see that's the closed path now. And we'll also have to do the same thing where we're going to have to join it in all through these pieces. You're going to have to be united, but then some of the token. So we'll get back to that later. We just have to keep that as a remember. Now this part is kind of not in the right, like it was right there. So I think what we'll do is just size this down some. A little more angle. As you can see the angle of this pad. So it feels like it's just without the end. So yeah, let's revisit this this font for happy and day. We're going to go up to object and we're going to unlock the all. And then that way we now can modify these fonts. So let's take a look and see if we can find something that's in spirit. What sense? Like I like a bold. Could be sense of that's cute. Like this so this is kind of nice that we have our script already placed because then we can pick something that's gonna really go with it. Versus kind of what we did before that was just waiting and seeing it work. I know there's one in here that I have. That's not bad actually. This one's called Aoravella. Aoravella. And that looks pretty good actually. We'll move some of these parts. And I think let's see, that's 20 points. I think we're probably good at 20. We'll probably go up to 21 just to get a little more height on those. And I'm going to say that for our spacing, our kerning this, if you look over here in the character panel, you can easily do some of the functions without, previously I was showing you how to do it with the control key and the arrow key. So if you're just doing it overall to all of the type versus just between two letters, then you can just come over here and say, what I'm going to start with is play with about like 5 months spread. You can see that didn't do much. So we're going to try to have something great there. You can see it starts to really change what you're looking at. And I think that looks pretty good, actually. So it's the easiest to do here. It's probably just a copy. And then paste, and then type day. All right. So it's something better, except this now doesn't feel like it's in the right spot. You can, instead of modifying where your top and bottom are, you can just rotate your circle that you have the font in. I don't know the right. That's I think I kind of like it that way. Little bit. You can see there's where the half and half are now. So I did rotate it a bit. But that's looking better. I'm liking this. So this is where you then come back in and say these parts actually have to be moved. And here, I mean, right next to those guys. So I think I'm more of this feels like they're kind of mirroring each other. And I think we should probably bring these down by the day somehow. And maybe take them out from the Y. So that everybody stops in the parts. And there, that way it kind of starts to feel like it's going around. What we can do too is, if this is kind of a highlight on the text, is we could put a line around. I think the hearts, we actually, like for example there, you can see if you put a line all the way around, then we snip some pieces that might help. They might look good on the bottom, but I'm not sure about the top. So let's try pulling the new circle. So back up over to your ellipse tool. Back over here, and you can see it just moving. So these are kind of, yeah. There. So that is the center. And I'm pulling a new line. And you can see I want to do it about half, because this is actually the line that's going to be this one. We're going to look that up. And now, this is one of the things that a lot of people don't know about. So I'm going to show you right now that if you want a solid line, that's fine. If you want a dashed line, then you can easily go in here and you can tell Illustrator, I want a dash line, and it'll give you that immediately. You can also then modify your dashes. So let's say I said I want a 4-point dash, would be that. So it really thins it down. And then you can choose how much space is in between them. So if I say, you know what, I want a 4-point dash, but then I want 3 times the space between, so I do a 12-point gap. You can see how that spaced them all out. That was a little bit much to me. So let's go with a 4-point gap, and you can see that it immediately is back to tight. Maybe do 8 points. And if you wanted to, you could actually have it do multiple dashes and gaps. So you could say, instead of just these uniform spacing, I want a 4-point dash, an 8-point gap, and then we're going to have a 6-point dash added in there. And you can see now that gives you a little bit more kind of randomness to this, because we're only going to use a few pieces of this. So I think that looks good. Now this is a stroke, and what we want to do is modify it. So we're going to come up to Object, Path, Outline Stroke, and then now you can see we have all these pieces that are going to work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to double click to go into the group, and you can see that the back is faded away and the circle itself is all separate and dark black. So I'm going to come up over here and I'm going to say, you know what, these 3 guys don't need to be here. These guys don't need to be here. At least is 2 here. And Okay. Here, that guy doesn't even care. Okay, so that's which way. All right. So now we can see it in place with everything else. And if you look, we can say, okay, you know what? That feels okay to me, but that feels tight. So these feel okay. All of this, okay, I think I'll move this piece of confetti there. Let's make it go random. I think we are going to have to add a few more things in just to kind of help fill this out. So let me go back in here and I'm going to remove this first. There we go. So that part is done. Let's see. Let's see what parts. I think we're kind of done on adding parts. We haven't added. We've only had one outline. Let's add some solid parts. This guy's here. So copy the moving parts paste. There. I think that's going to move more there. This one is part of the slide. And let's grab one more outline. This one looks a little regular. So let's grab that. Now remember, this is going to need to be turned into a compound craft. So the paste is going to be black. And we're going to minus front. And that will give us our shape. And I think this side will probably go here. This one, this side. This one, this one. And then let's pull some this is what I was saying, but then to easily grab it. Small steps come hard. Now that hurts there. Let's pull another outliner and then I think we're done. And we're getting close to time too. So let's pull this side right there. Make sure step around. Paste again. Minus front again. This gives you the right to left, the right to left. This is up here, you know, so it's kind of this is going that way, that's falling, this is going that way, it's right, that's falling. So, and there it's falling from the front, like we have with the other H. So I think this is pretty good. Now you can go in and take the text, type, create outlines, text, type, create outlines, and yes, now everything is a piece. So what we need to do now is we need to come back to this T here. We haven't been paying attention to. And we just want to make sure that this is all one piece with this line and with the outside doily sections. So we're going to this is still like that. Yes. So we need to come back over here, object, add, outlet strip. Now that makes it a full path. And you can see from the blue on either side now. It's going to be the same thing for this side. It's actually a stroke, and this stroke has the fill of it on the left of the left of the line. So instead of having a uniform line over the stroke, I've actually had the fat inside, just so that we can know that our outside is going to stay the number that I want it to be. And then anything else goes on the inside. So that's how we've kept it within 2¼ inches. So this one's going to have the same thing. Have outline stroke. And then now we should be able to come out on here. And yay. Okay, so that one's done. And let's see. Let's do a ticket break, and those are actually fairly easy. Because what you're going to do is you're going to make the size anything. So let's do it 2×1. Just do the inches there, 2 inches by 1 inches. And we're going so now we're going to take a circle back to the ellipse tool. We're going to come right here on this. You can see that's where the center is on the box and on the line. So this is going to cut out that section of the ticket that you always see. It's like the stub that came off or something. I actually like to bring it in a little bit like that. Just gonna take that spectrum inside and make it a little bit more ovate there. And we are going to copy this. Actually, we don't have to copy it, just select it. We're coming up here to the rotate, and we're changing over to the reflect tool. And we are going to find the center there. So it looks like we're fairly on it. Alt to hold it down. It's going to ask, is this the spot you want? We're going to do it vertical, horizontal. If I had done horizontal, you'd see if it went that way because of where I put my line. So we want vertical and we want to copy. And now we're going to do the exact same thing we've been doing for other stuff. We're going to look at this and we're going to say minus front. Now, one of the things to note though is that this is now become, this box is now on top. So if I try doing this again, oh, never mind. Making a liar out of me. So there's our ticket. And it's really easy. I'm going to come up over here as my just dingbats font that everybody has. And let's see if we can pull one of these. I don't like that guy. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna come down here. We're gonna resize this guy. Yeah, we're gonna resize the model. now we're gonna do this. He's a little big over there, but we'll come back to him. We're going to remove this here in this font. You can see it's obviously too big. But let's size this down. This is 2 inches by 1 inch, so this is a pretty good pocket size too. We're gonna pull that up. And then we're gonna place some text on top and bottom, kind of like we did up there. So we did the T, place it here, because we're gonna center it. And then let's go with this one, I think. We're gonna say this is the same font that we used up there. And what I actually know now is that we're kind of making this a bit plainer in the design. So I'm gonna put that over. That's a pretty nice size to kind of work with this. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is pull up the glyphs count. And the glyphs count, you see it right here, it's a recursive, calligraphy A. This will show you if you have anything that you can use instead of letters. It takes a minute for mine to pop up. We're gonna go over a few minutes here so I can finish this out. And now, okay, I want to say it's caps. Have more, but not really. Don't have much. I mean, if we had an RA and an LL, 2 T's, and our O. So what we can do though is we can come in and we can take that little ornament that's inside the O, and we can use it itself from the side of the T. So we'll have to see how big this is. That makes just sense. Let's make sure this. Let's see where it blocks. Select behind stuff. We're going to close the book here. Oops. Actually, do kind of middle. So this is where vertical dupe is going to come in. So I'm selecting the point here. It's the center. Hold Alt and select, and horizontal. Now you can see it's going to dupe it down. And then now you can select, go back over to duplicate. Let's see if we can easily find the centers here now. This is the one thing I don't like, is the centers go away unless you have them selected, and you can't select it. So I'm just saying yes, and then back to I'm just going to write this. Yeah. So, you know, we can put like a diamond in or something to make this work better. One of the things I think that might steal one of these confetti balls, since they're not a circle, they're irregular. We're going to paste it here. And drag that over here. And we're going to copy. We're going to drag that down. center of those. And I'm not done with that. You're actually about the same distance. And we're going to get smaller. That we're going to do this. So this time, this guy's in the line with that. And this guy, a little bit lower. Let's get here where I can actually see it again. See, it's trying to line on the bottom. So there, that's kind of roughly. And we're going to split. We're going to get this HAPY. This is approximately the center. Just a little bit off. I was close. So we'll pull this one out. To paste. Duplicate, and you can see duplicate here. I mean, it just really helps when you're making a design that you can easily do stuff and try to keep it in the same spot versus having to mess with too much. So that kind of you start to see how different little pieces will kind of make something start to pop. So we've made now 2 different tokens, and you can probably make them faster than I did in an hour. Since we wouldn't have to be talking to people and explaining which tools to use. So that's our time today. And I'm going to make these guys available and in the laser design group, in Genevieve's file group, and in the user group. And these will be available for you guys to use for Heart Day if you want to, or at least just for following along and making your own. Thanks. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week, every Wednesday.